What up, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Podcast with your boy Dustin Calloway. Yes, sir. We are back with another episode. And again, it's me, Solo Dolo. I'm here by myself. This mic is unoccupied today. Was vacant today. So we're going to still get back into it. And like I explained in my last episode, the reason why I, record certain episodes by myself is because I'm at home in my studio, and it's a lot easier for me to, when I come up with something that I want to talk about, it's easier for me to just get on here and talk about it and get off everything that I need to get off versus sending the topics over to a guest that I want to have on. And then we run it that route, so it's just easier this way sometimes, so I'm going to run a few of these solo and let's just get it going. So I know last episode we talked about, I gave a brief little breakdown of what I was going to talk about on this episode, but I had to switch it up because I forgot that I had already had stuff. I just got my stuff mixed up, right? So that topic is the next episode. So, so I got some things mixed up along the lines, along the lines. But anyway, we're going to get into it and we're going to get right down to it. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is control issues in a relationship. Are you in a relationship? Are you in a relationship, or have you ever been in a relationship with someone where you feel like they control you? They control everything about the relationship. They control your thoughts. They control how you think about shit. And it feels like, or it seems like you can never, everything is kind of always going that person's way. Or even if you don't, we're going to talk about this today. And by the end of this topic, you probably realize that you are one of those people that are that's controlled, that's being controlled by your relationship. So I know somebody right now, right, that I'm cool with. It's actually a few people that I know like this, that I'm cool with. And they are in relationships, right? And I sit back and I watch and I pay attention and I listen to how they deal with the person that they're with in the relationship that they're in right now. And I never say anything. I just take mental notes. And I kind of watch how that person talk to me, how they deal with them, all in one box, right? I watch it all. And then I listen to that person when they talk to me about how great their relationship is with the person that they with, right? But on the flip side, what I do is I start looking at the person that they say they're with and how they got this just perfect ass relationship. And that's when I start pulling out those notes and I start paying attention and I start, working things out of my head. Like, I'm sorry, I got something in my mouth. I start working things out of my head. Like, is it a perfect relationship, or are you just with somebody who really don't speak up for themselves or whatever? Is it that type of relationship? And what I come to realize is the person that I'm talking about, they're not in a relationship with someone who's able to speak their own mind and be who they really want to be. Honestly, because that person dominates that person. And really, I think that person is being controlled through fear of losing that person and being out here having to figure it all out on their own. And fear, for real, just fear that this person's temper may blow up to the point where it's like, damn, we might have to end up fighting or something, so are you in that type of relationship where you can't, his thoughts or her thoughts got to be your thoughts? Like, y'all got to have the same thoughts. And if y'all don't have the same thoughts, it's a problem. Are you stuffing your feelings? Because the person that I'm talking about, when I look at their relationship from the outside, it looks like a slave type of relationship where this person is literally bending over backwards for this motherfucker. Just bending over backwards. I'm talking about when they talk or when this motherfucker talk, she just sit back. She don't never say nothing. She don't have an opinion about anything. And I'm just like, damn. Or she always agree with him all the time. And I just be like, damn. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, I know we are men and women, you know, and, you know, we think different, but we still humans at the end of the day, right? So we still have thoughts. But when we sit around in these little groups and stuff like that and we talk, I just always look back like, damn, you never have anything to say or you always agree with what this motherfucker's saying. And I'm just like, I know you don't, though, because when I hear you talking in different settings, when it ain't us, you have a whole lot to say to the other people that when that motherfucker ain't around. So I'm just like, damn, it's just funny how you always quiet in this scenario or whatever. So my question is, do you have your own thoughts, man? Or do you just agree with everything your fucking partner says? Even though some of that shit, if it sounds wacky to me and to some of the other people that be sitting around, I know some of the shit gotta sound wacky to you. Where it's like, okay, come on, man, damn, enough is enough. So my question is, are you in a relationship where you're being controlled by your partner? Where you can't even think for yourself? You can't even make decisions for real because everything got to flow through that motherfucker? And if you are, is this sparking something in you right now to make you think like, damn, I am in a fucked up relationship like that? And, you know, sometimes it might not be fucked up. You know, maybe you might be with somebody who just always needs somebody to guide them, because you do have those type of people out here, people who can't think outside of a goddamn door. They can't think outside of walking out the front door. So you got to do all the thinking for them. You know, it's just some people like that. But if you're not like that, are you in a situation where you're being controlled? Like, are you in a relationship or in a situation where you are an invisible wife, an invisible boyfriend, an invisible husband, an invisible girlfriend? Because everything is controlled by that motherfucker. Because I'm going to tell you like this. I feel like I was in that situation a little bit before, right? Because I used to be, you know, this is not me, you know, talking about, like, I never pretend to be a perfect person. Never, ever. I never pretend to be perfect. I used to be so insecure in relationships that I used to be that person. Like, I had to control everything. I wanted to control what my woman wore, like what she used to wear or whatever. And I just was like so insecure about, oh, you going outside, your pants too tight and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, that shit used to be crazy. And I won't say that I was in like controlling to the point where I'm like the dude that I was just talking about, where everything this motherfucker say, she gotta agree with him. And if she don't agree with him, he'll argue her to death to the point where she'll end up just agreeing with him. Or when he talking, she'll never call him on his bullshit. She'll never challenge anything that he got to say. You know, I was never like that. But it was just the controlling side when it came to what you wearing. Why you dressing like that? Why you wearing them tight ass clothes? Like, that used to be me. Like, that shit, I used to be shit. Insecure like a motherfucker when it came to that type of stuff. But, you know, as time went on, I learned that I'm just not going to be with somebody that I'm worried about how they dress. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not going to say that I'll accept anything when it comes to being in a relationship with somebody and how my woman dress. All them Instagram models and shit, all them girls that be on Instagram in bikinis and thongs and twerking and shit, popping their ass, titties all hanging out they clothes and shit. I would just never be with them. Yeah, is it cool to look at? It's cool to look at, but I would never be with them. So that's what I had to learn. I had to learn not to try to control the way somebody dressed, right? Because when I met you, you was dressing like that. Who am I to tell you can't dress like that no more? You know, even though no, that's true. That's true. I'm not even going to flip it up and say the motherfuckers wasn't dressing like that when I met them, because they were. And I came through the door with some control and shit, trying to make that person be or transform into somebody who really they were not. You know, that wasn't them. But to go back to the control issue, You know, are you in a relationship with that type of person where you feel like you can't be yourself? Where you feel like that person always get the last word. That person, you always got to agree with that motherfucker. Even though you know, like I said earlier, even though you know some of the shit they saying is fucked up and is wrong. Do you feel invisible, man? Are you constantly stuffing your feelings on a daily basis? Do you have your own thoughts? I'm just saying. So if you fall into that box, man, I would love to know if you just figured it out today by listening to what I'm saying, or if you already knew and you just kind of just going through the motions every day, because the shit gotta hurt. It gotta hurt. It gotta hurt. It gotta be driving you crazy, feeling like you can't say anything about it. You can't challenge that person, and you don't have a voice in that situation. So let me know what you think. Let me know what y'all going through down in the comment section. So let's move along. I got a question for y'all. Question. Have y'all ever had a stalker, man? I'm just being real. Have you ever had a stalker? You know, like, and what I don't mean by like somebody who, not just some old weirdo goddamn bozo who just, you know, you ain't never dealt with the motherfucker no more. I mean, you ain't never dealt with the motherfucker. You ain't never dealt with her or him. And they just, you know, just start stalking you for no reason. I'm talking about a legit, you used to mess with this person. Whatever happened, it didn't work out right. And you just cut them off. And then next thing you know, you looking out your damn window and they in your bushes. Trust me. Yeah, I've had one before. And today, I'm going to talk to y'all about this stalker, man. So I had this stalker, right? I'm not going to say no names. But it was a chick that I was messing with, right? We got cool or whatever. And, you know, everything was cool. You know, she was my style, my speed or whatever. But when I really got to know her, I knew she had a couple kids and her kids didn't live with her. And it was just a bunch of little red flag things there, right? That I was looking at in the beginning. I'm like, you know, I ain't met too many women in life who kids, if they got kids and they not with the person no more, who kids don't live with them. So I'm just like, red flag number one. Red flag number two was, you know, we was dating for a while. And then I found out that she was married and she wasn't even divorced or whatever. So I was like, damn, what? So that was red flag number two. So I had already made up in my mind, like, look, man, I'm just going to mess with this chick until the time run out. And once I get on my feet, because that was when I was going through that phase, when I was just trying to get on my feet. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm going to mess with her till I get on my feet. So, you know, we get to messing around for a little bit. Then eventually I get on my feet, right? And I kind of, you know, told her, like, look, I got my new spot now. I'm going to be over here, you know, doing what I do over here. We was never boyfriend, girlfriend. It was just kind of like messing around with each other or whatever. Never official. And she knew the reason why. It's because I told her, because you married. You still married. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter, you know, it didn't matter what I wanted her to be to me. She couldn't be that because in my mind, she was still married. And that was one of them times where I was still like, respectful. I was still kind of respectful when it came to marriage. Even though I knew she was like separated from him, I'm just like, I can't make nothing official with you. How can I call you my girlfriend knowing you still got a man? So one thing leads to another. I get on my feet and I moved into my new spot. You know, I'm living, right? So we kind of like stopped talking to each other a little bit. We started talking. We was talking on and off, and really, it just turned into like, you know, nothing. We ain't talking no more. And she would like hit me up every now and again. And then next thing I know, out of nowhere, she just kept hitting me up. And I'm like, okay, look, we good at this point. Like, look, I'm good. You go your way, I go my way. Man, look, I'm in my new apartment, right? So I was living on the third floor. And I don't know what I was doing. I just happened to go to the balcony to look outside one day, I guess to see if it was raining or some shit. So I look outside, and I'm on the third floor. I look all the way across the parking lot. I see her truck all the way across the parking lot, lights on, just sitting in the corner all the way across the parking lot. I'm talking about Man, it had to be about a football field away. And the truck was facing my building. And I'm looking like, hold on, I know that ain't who I think it is. So I'm just like, you know what, that ain't who I think it is, man. So I go outside, get in my car, I leave. I'm driving around. I'm looking at my rear view. I'm seeing this same truck from like far back behind me, though, everywhere I go. And I'm talking about this was going on for days, man. I'm like, what is going on? So one day I got one of my dudes, he had lived in my building. And I'm like, you want trying to hit the gym or whatever? And this is when the YMCA was still in Bedford Heights, right? The YMCA. So I'm like, all right, cool. He like, yeah, man, let's hit the gym. So I'm like, all right, cool. I grab him. We go jump in my whip. And we go to the gym. I don't see the truck behind me, right, at all. I'm still thinking about it like, man, where this motherfucking truck at? And I knew it was her the whole time. I knew it. So I go in the gym. We in there working out, man. We was in there for about 2 hours, 2.5. Come back outside. I cut my head to the right. This motherfucker sitting in the back of the parking lot at the gym. Just sitting there. And this time, I don't know if she was just trying to let it be known that this is me. But this time, she parked like maybe or like 2 rows behind me. So when I go to get in my car, I walk to my car door, I open, I look up. She you know how Snoop Dogg was in Baby Boy when he pulled up to old girl house? He walked outside like, "You fat, what you doing? Stop playing, what you doing?" And the window came down. And that's how she was sitting in the car looking at me like, man, when I tell y'all, I couldn't even react. Man. I got in my car and I had to pull out. But I ended up having to go to the police station, man. I had to go to the police station, man. Because at this point, man, I'm like, it had been at least 2 weeks, man. I'm like, she ain't saying nothing to me. She just following me around and sitting outside my damn apartment building. I'm like, I had to go to the cops, man. I had to. But eventually, I don't know if she might have got pulled over or whatever, but eventually she just stopped out of nowhere. And then I had noticed that she ended up talking to somebody else. I'm like, that's what happened. So that's how I ended up getting my little stalker off my back. And I got another one. I got another story about another stalker that I had, right? And I won't even call her. She was kind of a stalker. Stalker-ish. So it was this chick that I used to talk to, right? And I'm going to take y'all back in the days. This is back in the days when I was like in high school. So this was like a little chick that I used to mess with on and off. But we messed around more on than off. So, in high school, I had a few little chicks, you know what I'm saying? But she was like one of the ones that everybody kind of knew that I always messed around with her. So at this point, when me and her was messing around, we was kind of like, messing around, going steady a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's really, mess with each other. So when I was messing with her, she had worked at this job, right? It was a Subway. And she didn't have no car. She ain't had no phone or nothing. This is back when, we ain't had cell phones and shit like that. Like, it was only a few kids, the spoiled kids to me, that had cell phones and shit when we was in high school. But one day, I was at my parents' house. This is where I was living at my parents' house. She pull up, she called me or something and was like, "Hey, I'm outside," and whatever. And I come outside. She got this Dodge Stratus. She got a cell phone. I'm like, damn, where you get all this from? She was just like, "Oh, this is just my boss. He let me use the car, and he let me have this cell phone." And I think she was trying to spin it like she was kind of like a manager or some shit at the job. But I'm like, hell no. I don't know about that. So, back then I wasn't really thinking about no silly shit like that. Like, how I wasn't thinking about how older dudes would give younger girls shit, right? And how young girls will mess with older dudes. I'm not thinking this. I'm a kid. In my mind, I'm thinking like, that don't happen. But nah. So she ended up coming over to my crib. I'm talking about she was letting me, when she was at work, she was letting me like hold the phone, use the cell phone. So I had the phone, and it was a couple times she had let me use the car while she was at work. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, Shit, all right, I'm coming up. So then also she would bring me over the she would bring over the car, she would bring over the phone, and then on top of that, she would bring me these fat ass Subway sandwiches. So I'm like, I'm living. So cut two, one of her friends that came to me was just like, hey, Dustin, look, I'ma keep it real with you. You know that car she driving, you know, that ain't even her car. You know who car that is, right? I said, no, who car is it? Who? And she was like, you know whose cell phone it is, right? I'm like, no. She was like, that's the dude who owns the Subway. She be sleeping with him, and she be letting him. He give her money, let her drive the car, and and he gave her that phone. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, for real? She like, yeah. So that's her friend telling me all this shit. I'm like, damn, that shit crazy, man. So I'm like, all right, it's cool. So I brush it off. So to me, I say, okay, I gotta cut her off. I'm like, you got me, because I'm first of all, I ain't had no bread. I felt like a bum. Like I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, she playing me. You know what I'm saying? So I say, I call her up and I tell her, I'm like, we done. You know what I'm saying? Like, we done. I know who motherfucking car that is and shit. I know the whole thing. I spilled the whole thing to her. Like, I'm good. I ain't tell her friend told me though. But I'm like, nah, I'm cool on you. So she get to pleading with me on the phone. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. So she, next thing I know, she come over to my mom and them house. I'm outside. I'm in the house and it's dark outside, right? So next thing I know, she pull up outside. She come to the door. She was like, can you come outside and talk to me? And I'm like, hold on. In my mind, I'm mad though, because I'm like, hold on, let me look outside, see who fucking car. So she pulled up in the motherfucking car. So I'm like, man, you got me fucked up. I'm like, hey man, get that fucking car out of my parents' yard. So she was just like, just come outside and talk to me. So I go outside and I'm standing there and I look at the car. She got the motherfucking man in the car with her. I said, I know you didn't. That's ultimate disrespect. So I run up to the car thinking I'm about to bomb on this nigga. This motherfucker, I'm mad, right? Man, this motherfucker had to be like 75 years old. It was an old ass white man. Old than the motherfucker. I'm beating on the window like, get your ass out the car. Get your ass out the... I'm looking, it's an old ass white man. I'm talking about, he old than the motherfucker, just in that motherfucker, just in the car, just sitting there, like, wouldn't even look at me. I'm like, man, you got me fucked. I'm like, man, I get the dogging around. I say, hey, man, you get the fuck out of here, man. Get out of my parents' yard, man. So she kept trying to talk to me. I wouldn't talk to her. Long story short, boom, boom, boom. She get back in the car. So I'm standing outside in the driveway, and I'm like halfway down the driveway. So she backed the car out. I'm thinking she about to go, right? I turn my back, and I get to walking back towards the house. All I hear is... I turn around. This motherfucker tried to pull up. She tried to come back up. She reversed, not to leave. She needed room. She tried to hit me with the car, man. So at my parents' house, it's this little step up thing to the right of the driveway. So like it's like a brick wall, like a retaining wall. So luckily I heard the car and I reacted quick enough and I jumped over to the retaining wall and she almost hit the whole side of the car up the retaining wall, but she stopped. I turn around, man, this in this old motherfucker's car, and I'm just like, I flipped. My mom had this big ass flower pot. I picked the flower pot up, I just threw it across the whole windshield in the front of the car. She get the skirt out the yard, pull it off, right? So, I'm thinking everything cool. And this is when it became stalker-ish. So I believe she was hitting me up the whole night. I ain't pick up the phone, none of that shit. So I had, my first car was a 1986 or 87 Cougar, with the little kind of a bubble back window. But it was a small back window. So, I go in the house, I ignore her for the rest of the night. I ain't fucking with her no more. I'm done at this point. So next thing I know, I'm upstairs chilling, right? And I'm like, man, something ain't right. Because at one point, she just stopped hitting me up. I'm like, she was blowing me up. So the next thing I know, I fall asleep. I get woke up by, I believe it was my little sister woke me up. Hey. I'm like, what's up? She's like, somebody bust your window out of your car? I'm like, get the fuck, come on, man. There ain't no fucking way, man. Ain't no fucking way. I go outside. Somebody threw a brick through my shit. I'm talking about it was a cinder block through my back window. I knew it was her. I knew it was her. How the fuck you mad at me for cheating on me and you throw a brick through my shit? Come on, man. You throw a brick through my shit. So now I got this brick through my window, right? I ain't had no money to get the shit fixed. And my dad was just like, man, look, man, we got to figure that out. He was going to give me the money or whatever to go to the junkyard because it was an old ass car or whatever. But up until that point, listen, I had to go to school with a plastic bag on my window, man. Everybody knew what happened, man. Because I told everybody, I'm like, man, she threw a brick through my shit, man. Threw a brick through my goddamn window. So I'm in this bitch with the flappy bag window at school, man. Salty, man. Like, I'm sick. I'm mad now. I'm mad all over again, man. But no, that was my stalker situation. I had 2 of them. And I believe I had a few more, but yeah. But I ain't even gonna go no deeper, man. That's about it. I'm gonna save some of these stories for y'all. That was kind of like a topic / story time for real. It was like a topic / story time. But yeah, that was my situation with my stalker. Stalkers. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about something real quick. Let's talk about something. So we're going from talking about talking about being controlled in a relationship, talking about stalkers that you done had in a relationship. Now, I want to talk to the men for a second, man, because I got something else that I want to talk about. I got another little, I guess we can call it a story time type of story. Men. Hey, man, some of y'all dudes out there got to stop being weak for women that treat y'all like shit. That's the bottom line. Yeah, that includes me too, you know. But what I'm about to talk about right now, my shit ain't never been to that degree where I'm about to go right now. So, an ex-friend of mine, right, used to be, I would call him one of my best friends. And at one point, we became roommates and shit like that, right? And when I tell y'all, man, this dude used to blow my damn mind, man, with how he used to, like, let this one chick fuck him up. I'm talking about, I would see my man with tons of chicks, man. Tons of them. None of them fazed him. None of them did. But this one, all it took was this fucking one chick, man. And it was like she had this motherfucking mind control over this motherfucker where it was like, it was bad, man. It was like this dude was like gone. He was gone, just out there over her, man. I'm talking about, and the chick even had a dude. She had a dude, so he was the side dude. But you know how a dude would have a side chick, and she knows she a side chick, but eventually she want to be the main chick, so she ended up start going crazy and shit, and start doing all kinds of crazy shit to try to break him up with his main chick. That's this shit that I'm talking about. So my man, I used to just sit back and watch how she would do him dirty. And what made it even worse is because I knew who her real dude was. Look, he is now. Like, I knew who he was back then. I wasn't cool with him, but I just knew him. Like, it was a small little world back then. So I would see how she would come over to the house and be kicking it with him, and he'd just be so in love and cooking for her and taking her on fucking dates to dinner and shit, buying her birthday gifts, Christmas gifts and shit like that, $100, $200 gifts, $300 gifts. I'm like, motherfucker, you a side dude spending your main woman money on her. Hope that makes sense. But I'm talking about this dude was just weak, man, over her. And it even got to the point where the dude, her main dude, he would even, he let it be known that, hey, we still together, bruh. Like he even knew he was the side dude. And he even attempted to reach out and tell dude, like, hey man, like, you know, we still together or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, so that's still my girl or whatever. So whatever you think you about to get with her, you ain't getting with her. You know what I'm saying? He kind of let it be known. And the shit turned out to be true though. But man, listen. So the girl, I used to mess with a girl who lived in the same building as this girl that he used to go crazy over. And we talking all the way on the west side somewhere. And it just so happened that the girl that I was talking to at that time, she lived there too. So the girl that I was talking to, she would be over at the house, you know, sometimes, and she met the girl before, right? She saw her, she would be there, old girl would be there. So one day we at the crib, you know, chilling, and the next thing I know, I get woken up by like some cell phone or like a text with some pictures coming through from the girl that I was talking to. She had got off work, or I believe she was getting ready to go to work, something like that, in the morning, and she ended up going outside and she saw old girl outside, right? But the old girl didn't see her. But when she saw old girl, she was with her main dude. So old girl, she didn't know. I didn't tell her that, you know, she got another dude. But she just thought that my boy was being played. So she immediately started snapping pictures on her phone and started sending them to me. So next thing I know, I said, damn, man, I'm looking at my phone like, damn, this is messed up, man. So I said, let me shoot my dude these messages, man, because I'm like, I know this is going to get him to stop, because there was other shit that happened before that where he should have been like, no, I'm cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come, I'm done. Because she was feeding him bullshit about me and him, we about to break up and all this shit. I'm like, nah, dude, it wasn't happening. So I said, this got to be it. This is the one. Forward, I sent him all the messages, and he wasn't home yet, right? So he was still at work, because he was working like a night shift for some shit, and I was at the house chilling. I'm asleep. So it's early as hell in the morning, man. It was like real early. So next thing I know, I sent him all these messages. I'm asleep now. I'm about to go back to sleep. I'm like, thank you. Boom. Man, listen here. Next thing I know, I wake up. I'm in my room, sleep, and at this point, I had two doors in my room. I had the one door here and the one door off the bathroom to my bathroom. So I had them. I locked them both before I used to go to sleep. I'm like, I ain't want nobody coming in my room while I was asleep. So, do you know? I woke up to this. Somebody pushing me. I wake up. I open one eye up. I'm like, what the fuck? This dude was standing over me like, hey man. Hey man, you know that voice that people make when they like hurt and they about to cry, but they trying to be strong at the same time. Like, hey man, hey look man, hey, she ain't answering her phone, man. Hey man, man, can you ride with me out there, man? Cause she ain't answering her phone, man. So at this time, the morning time had already went by, right? And now that I'm thinking about it, the whole day had went by, because when she sent me those photos, it was the morning time. So I sent them to him. I stayed asleep, and then I woke up and went about my day. The whole day he wasn't home. So I take it after I sent him those photos, he must have been at work all day because he couldn't leave, and he was just calling her, blowing her phone up, and she wouldn't pick up the phone. So I'm sleeping in my room, and this dude come in my room, hey man, and he's just standing over me though. So think about it. My doors are locked. The motherfucker picked my lock on my door. Not knock. He picked my lock, man, to get in and talk to me. He could have just, he picked my fucking lock, man, because he had to make sure. I need to get close to him to wake him up. I need him to wake up. I can't rely on to get him to wake up. I need to stand over him. Shoved me. Hey man, hey, she ain't picking up her phone, man. Hey, can you ride with me out there, man? I'm about to go do a ride. I'm about to just drive and see if she home. I'm like, motherfucker. Man, listen. This shit was far as hell away, man. This ain't like... And then I'm asleep, though. He woke me up out my sleep for this shit. I'm like, nah, man. Come on, man. For real, man. Just stop, man. Just let her go, bruh. Nah, man. I just gotta go over there, man. I just want to talk to her, man. I'm like, man, you serious? I'm like, all right, man. So what you gonna do? What's the plan? I'm like, I'm looking around. This motherfucker had his gun. I'm like, hold on. He like, I don't know, man. I'm like, you ain't about to go over there and shoot nobody though, right? Nah, man, no. So the gun was gone. So next thing I know, I'm like, I'm gonna go with this motherfucker because I don't want him to do something stupid. I'm gonna just go, man. So I say, fuck it, man. All right, man, let's go, man. So we get in this motherfucker car. When I tell you, man, we was on the freeway. He hit about 120. We got there in maybe 7 minutes. And we talking about a place that's at least 20, 23 minutes away. 7 minutes, man, on the freeway, 100. I'm just like, please protect me. God, please protect me. Because I don't want to crash. Man, we get off the freeway, we get there. He pulls in. So I'm like, what's the plan, man? Because we ain't about to go over here and fight or nothing. I mean, I'm definitely not about to get out the car and fight. I mean, you are the side dude and you are aware of this. Why are you surprised that she's with her actual boyfriend? So I'm like, all right, man. He was like, man, just hold on, man. I'm about to go see. So I said, hey, man, just circle the parking lot to see if you see both of their cars. So we circle the parking lot, right? Her car, his car's there. I'm like, dude, all right, you good? You got what you needed? His car here, her car here, he's here. That's why she ain't picking up her phone. I'm like, do you ever notice when you call her and she don't pick up her phone, 9 times out of 10, he's there. Why you surprised now? You knew she had a dude. So he like, no, man, hold on. He looking around. And I know what he feeling. Anxiety levels through the roof. He probably need to pop a pill or something just to bring him down. Whatever the anxiety pills are, he needed one. Because I'm thinking this motherfucker was about to have a heart attack. The way his throat was sounding and just the heart, I could tell the heart was probably beating out the chest. His heart was, mouth and love was on the ground when he saw a dude car out there and her car parked right next to his. So I'm like, what you about to do now? He's like, hold on, I gotta go see something. He parks the fucking car. I'm like, man, you ain't really about to go to the door, are you? This motherfucker got out the car and tried to go into the building. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm at this point, I'm done. I'm like, I ain't getting out the fucking car. What we gonna do? Go over there and try to, hey man, why you messing with your girl, man? Why you ain't letting her pick up the phone, man? What we about to do? I'm not doing that shit. I'm like, dude, I really went with him just to make sure he was safe and, didn't do nothing stupid. But at this point, what I'm about to do? Wrestle you back in the car? I'm not. So my man jumps out the car. He went to the building. Thank God he couldn't get in. He comes back to the car, and it's this weird silence. And I'm just like, hey, man, I've been telling you, bruh. Like, I just try to talk him off the ledge, man. I'm like, hey, man, I've been telling you, bruh. It's always going to be like this, bruh. She messed with dude, man. This is her dude, man. That's who she want to be with for real. You are just somebody that she have fun with on the side. And for real, she used you because you always buying her shit. You was buying her shit, buying her drinks, taking her out to eat all the fucking time, buying her Christmas, birthday gifts and all this shit. That's why she kept fucking with you for real. It wasn't because she really wanted to be with you though for real. Nah, she really wanted to be with my man because they ended up, I don't even know if they got married, but they ended up having a whole bunch of kids and shit together and everything. And now he ain't even with her no more. And the crazy part is, when I had a conversation with a motherfucker like before, he was talking about, yeah, man, she still be trying to mess with me and shit. I'm like, but guess what? She ain't got no kids with you and she's still with him. Live together in a house together. They got a house together now with him. So her plans, you was just the fun nigga who bought her stuff, who gave her money and took her out to eat all the time. That was it. And you still gonna open up the door after she done had you damn near about to have a stroke. About to damn near have a heart attack. I was just like, man, look. And then it got to the point, man, where let's even rewind back a little bit because he still, after that day, he still kept messing with her. So it even got to the point where the real boyfriend, the main dude, he had enough of the shit. Main dude said, you know what, I'm done. Nope. I'm done. I am about to, she can't keep on going back between me and him. So at one point, her main dude, he started doing drive-bys by the house that we was living in. Doing drive-bys, man. I'm talking about I just happened to look out the window one day and I saw his car speeding by our house one time, like around a little cul-de-sac. I'm like, oh, nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. I had my kids here, man. Nope. So I ended up getting in contact with him or his brother or one of them. And I told him, I said, hey, man, whatever y'all got going on, bro, that's between y'all. But don't do no drive-bys by my house, bro, because I don't trust you. I don't know you all like that. And y'all fighting over this girl. My kids be here. Some dangerous shit can happen. I'm like, nah, bro, you got to kill that. So he stopped doing the drive-bys by the house, right? So old girl kept on playing between both of them, though. She kept playing between both of them. So, again, like I told you, my ex-boy, he used to be like the trip dude, taking her out of town, and we about to go here and go out to eat. So he takes her to the amusement park one day, right? Cedar Point. They go to Cedar Point. He driving her in his car. They speed out there. They having a little date and shit, kicking it, having a good old time. Do you know the main boyfriend followed them to Cedar Point, man? And look, when I tell y'all Cedar Point, put it like this. Let's just say Cedar Point, let's just say 2 hours. That's a 2-hour drive. Stalker, back to the beginning of my shit that I was talking about. But that's about it. Let's just say 2-hour drive, man, from where we were, where we all lived in the same area. About 2 hours. They at the amusement park having a good old time, just, funnel cakes with the ice cream on it and strawberries and shit. Man, my dude come out of Cedar Point. This motherfucker tattooed his whole car. I'm talking about scratched it up, all the doors, hit the hood, tattoo gang signs, trunk, all the doors. He keyed the whole car up in Cedar Point parking lot. The whole car. Then drove 2 hours back home. Didn't even go to the park. At least go to the park, bruh. Run up on him with a camera or something. I caught you. Go get on a ride. Get you a funnel cake while you're there. The motherfucker keyed the car up. 2-hour drive. Then went back home. Again. I'm at home in the morning. I'm asleep. I don't know if they stayed out there at the hotel or something. But this time he knocked on my door. Hey, man. Come outside, man. You ain't gonna believe this shit. I say, what now, bruh? Man, I go outside and see this car. Look, think about somebody's car that you didn't see that's been keyed up. Multiply that times 100. The fucking car was so scratched up. Man, I think it was damn near down to bare metal, man. Put it like this. He had to file an insurance claim to get the entire car. Not a piece of the car. The entire car had to get painted all over. That's how bad it was. I wish I would have took some pictures, man. It was that bad. He had to get the whole car painted. And kept messing with the girl after that point. Kept messing with the girl. Kept messing with her. And at the end of the day, going through all that shit, spending all that money, spending all that time, wasting all that time, she still ended up staying with the old dude. Damn. So dudes, some of y'all men out there, women got their own version of this shit. Where they have dudes who treat them like shit all the time, but they still stick with them. In this situation here, listen, man, some of y'all, and I know what it was. She was probably one of the coldest pieces that he ever messed with. I'm talking about looks wise. She was cold. She was all right. And I think that was the best thing that it was his type. That was his type. I'm talking about, I know his type and she was his type. But the way she was set up here and her relationship situation, she wasn't going to be what he needed her to be. So he just settled for whatever he could get. And that shit ended up being a fucking nightmare. Yeah. So I had a few more things, man, that I wanted to talk about today. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move one of these topics to next week's episode. But I want to get this one out the way real quick while we, just to end off this episode or whatever, because somebody did mention this to me. They threw this up on social media earlier today, and I just happened to comment on the post or whatever because, I just felt like it was something that I wanted to say because it was real early in the morning. I had just woke up, I saw it. I was like, let me tap on that real quick. So the post kind of went something like, are y'all women cool with, as a matter of fact, I'm going to just read it all off. I'm going to read it straight out. And this one is a shout out to Miracle for posing the question, or just, throwing a post up there or whatever. She said, this question is not directly related to me or anyone in my life. Are you okay with your significant other liking booty shaking videos and half naked pictures of people that they actually have met in real life? Double tapping on IG. Why do men do that? And I said to her, my response was, I said, some men have impulse control issues. There are many reasons why, don't get me wrong. I enjoy seeing a big booty and boobs. Don't get me wrong. I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I see it, like, damn, she got a fat ass. Damn, she got some big ass titties. But that double tap, though, ooh-wee. That's another game for you right there. That's another level. Double tapping some shit because you see a fat booty, you see some fat titties. You double tapping that, that's a whole nother level, right? When you're in a relationship. And some people who try to normalize bullshit, they may try to look and put us all in this same box and say, well, no, that's just, it's okay. It's okay that we can do that. We humans. And I do agree with you, but it's just a respect thing, right? If you're in a relationship with somebody who, that ain't how they live their life, they don't carry themselves like that, why would you go out there and do some shit like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if and it ain't even really no insecure shit. It's just like a respect thing, right? Like, if you with somebody who ain't into that, don't force that person's hand and don't do no silly shit like that where you gonna make somebody feel like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, are you gonna hurt somebody's feelings by doing that shit? Because it ain't cool. Now, you do have people out here that be all right with that shit. Like, they boyfriend, girlfriend, couple, whatever, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend. They like that type of shit, But to me, it all depends on the type of person you with. If you with somebody who don't care if you do shit like that, cool. Hat off to you. But just to randomly go through and do that shit, like, clearly Miracle, she's one of those people that, I'm not going to say that this happened to her because she made it clear that it didn't happen to her. But obviously, by her making a post about it, if she caught her husband, doing some shit like that, I'm pretty sure she'll have a problem with it because of her post. And don't get me wrong, if the shoe was on the other foot, if it's like me and my woman, and she out there liking pictures of dudes with their fucking shirts off and shit, flexing and popping their chest and shit like that, yeah, I'll have a problem with that shit. I will. I'm just being real for myself. But then on the flip side, you got some people who be cool with that shit. I'm not one of them, And I think that's what the issue is, You got to figure out who that person is, who they with, and what they into. But if it's somebody personally, like you got some friends out there where it's your friend's husband, and you say your friend's husband always liking all these big booty girl pictures and shit like that, and knowing your friend, right, knowing that she ain't for that shit, and you see her husband doing it all the time, okay, that's a big difference, right? Because it's some disrespectful shit, Like, some people try to normalize bullshit, and it's just not okay. You know what I'm saying? It's just not okay. And I told her also on my post, I said, the problem with that whole act is when you act on it, right? Because somebody in the post, the comments has said, it shows a bit of insecure on the other party, because it's not like I'm putting my hard eyes on the shit or even heart reacts. It's social media. It's like, what? He said, it's a like, not an invitation to my meat. Well, that's the crazy part, right? Because, see, he's trying to justify his bullshit, right? It's okay if you see big titties and big boobs, right? And be like, damn, that's crazy. Because we are men, right? We see it. We men. But if you're in a relationship, and like I said, if you with somebody who don't live like that, don't be on that bullshit, and they want to be respected, you need to show them respect. It's disrespectful for you to go on social media liking big ass booty pictures, big ass titty pictures, naked girls twerking and shit like that. That shit is disrespectful, man. Now, if for a fact that you gonna be looking in 1,000 different directions while you're in a relationship, my question to those dudes would be this: why even be in a relationship, man? Why why being put somebody in a situation that's going to be with you to have to deal with your bullshit that's going to fucking piss them off? How about you go out there and have a real conversation like your comment said, right? Have a real conversation with the person you meet and ask them, hey, would you be mad? Because that's what you need to do. We need to start doing that in relationships, period. Ask more questions in the beginning. Hey, would you be mad if I was on social media and I was liking big booty ass pictures and shit like that? Would you be mad? Would that bother you? You know, up front, right? That's what we need to start doing for real in relationships. We need to start being more upfront when we meet people. And we need to stop hiding so much of ourselves for real, from people. If you into that freaky shit, if you into threesomes and doing all that freaky shit in relationships where, you know, some people are not on that shit. If you into, you know, we gonna share be swingers and shit like that, that's what you into. But, you know, like everybody not gonna be into what you into. The key is you gotta find somebody that's gonna be into what you into. And then that way we ain't got no fucking confusion, right? We don't have no confusion when your girl see you going through liking big booty pictures and big titties, because y'all probably can look at each other like, damn, she got a big ass, don't she, babe? And she'll be like, damn, she do got a big ass. And y'all can both be like, oh, cool. And she won't have no problem with you liking that shit. But you need to figure out who your partner is, right? Figure out who the person is that you with. You know, because it's not necessarily being insecure for real. When a person is feeling some kind of way, like, nah, like, you know, if I'm with my woman and her fucking eyes is always on every man in the room, like, damn, it's going to make you feel some kind of way. Like, damn, I thought you was just with me. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, let's just be real. You know, you got some people out here who be fronting and shit, pretending like they not insecure or that shit don't bother them. All right, man, I hear you. And you may have some people out here who that shit don't bother. You know, they don't care about that type of shit. But like I said, make sure you go be with those type of people. That's just like you. Because when you try to mix up somebody who ain't with that shit and you got somebody who with that shit, that's when shit can start going bad, man. Or on the flip side of things, as a matter of fact, I'm going to take y'all down another path real quick. I'm going to take y'all down another path. You get into a relationship, right, with somebody, and this is why I believe that you really need to get into a relationship with somebody that matches what you looking for, and vice versa. Y'all work for each other, because you end up with these people who get in these relationships, right? With those people who liking those, who like to like big ass booty pictures and twerking videos and shit. And they just stare at that shit all day and be mesmerized by the shit. They end up getting with somebody who ain't about that shit, right? And then that other person on the other side might be weak than a motherfucker, right? Weak and so desperate to be in a relationship with somebody that they'll end up settling, right? And this is where the problems begin, because you know that person that you with, you don't like the shit that motherfucker be doing to you. You don't like the way they are when it comes to their sexuality, right? It don't match up with your sexuality, like with your idea of what you like. But you be so weak that you'll just settle, right? But like, all right, cool, I'm gonna just be with this motherfucker, man, because, you know, I ain't got time to be back out here trying to find somebody else. And I mean, I do like this, and this about them, but I hate all of this. When you're in a situation like that, that person on this side over here is weak than a motherfucker. Weak. And you know what that weakness can drive you to do? That weakness can drive you to doing shit that you wouldn't do. It'll drive you to stepping outside of your core system that you have set up for your life, right? That's been keeping you guided, right, up to this point. And then you'll see that person on this side will start accepting shit, right? And they don't even realize all along that shit is tearing them down, tearing their fucking soul out of them, because they just settling for shit, right? They just like letting that motherfucker on this side talk them into doing shit, right? And it ain't about this person on this side being weak. It ain't about, no, I'm sorry. It ain't about this person on this side being, I think that's what I'm trying to say. No, because they are weak, honestly. But the person on this side, the reason why they will start accepting shit, like I said, is because they are, they're weak in a certain kind of way, right? They weak in a sense of They don't want to start over. They tired of looking for people, so they're going to just settle for shit. And they start letting this motherfucker over here talk them into doing shit. Then eventually, as time goes on, that person over there loses themselves. You start doing all types of crazy shit. You start living a life that you never really had planned out for yourself. And you see this shit all the time. You see it all the time. And I hate to say it, but I mostly see it coming from females, right? Females will have these grand ideas of what they want to do and how they see their lives in the future. But then they meet this man over here, right? He's into all this crazy shit. And hey, live your life, bro. Do what you want to do. But they always end up getting that weak, I don't want to call them weak, but they always end up getting that person over here who not into that shit. Not saying you weak, but you weak because you let them talk you into doing shit in their world that you know don't align with your world. So then what do you end up with? You end up with that girl who just accept the shit that the man do to her, liking big booty pictures and twerking videos online, even though she know if she sat there and he was on his phone just like this and he had it out and he came across a big booty ass video, her living in her world and coming from where she come from, she would not be okay with him just scrolling and double tapping on big booty ass BBW on Instagram. She wouldn't be cool with that. So to go back to what Miracle was talking about, and I appreciate that topic, the brief topic, but the shit is real, man. And like, I'm gonna stick by what I say. The problem, it becomes a problem when you act on it. But, you know, like I said, you know, I see big booty pictures and, you know, all that shit online, but am I gonna like it? I'm not gonna like it. And, you know, and it's just out of respect for who I'm dealing with. That's the bottom line. And it's, you know, I'm just not gonna do it. You know, I see it, ooh, it's cool. Like, damn. Even if I'm out in public, I ain't finna just be like, you know, what's up, baby? Are we walking down the street? Damn. No, I ain't gonna do it. Might have to like cut an eye real quick and make sure, you know, but nah, I'm not gonna do that shit. It's just disrespectful. Just not doing it. So that was a great topic, man. I appreciate it again. But yeah, so it was a couple things that I scratched off my list today that I didn't cover, and I'm just gonna cover it on next week's episode. I'm gonna just cram it all in there. But I hope y'all appreciated this episode, man. Like, I had to break down the control issues, you know, to see how many people are in a relationship where they feel like they're being controlled. And then, like I said, if you weren't aware before this episode, but now you're kind of looking at it like, damn, I am in a situation like that, let me know. Or if you are in a situation and you recognize it a long time ago and you just not saying shit about it and you just kind of stuffing your feelings, let me know and stop stuffing your feelings. You actually got to step up and do something about it because you're a human being, man. You're a human too. You deserve to be heard. Stalkers, man. All y'all stalkers out there, look. When a situation is over, man, just walk away, man. Just go that way. It's done. Just go away, man. And for all y'all out there who like to throw bricks through people's shit, hey, man, stop that shit, man. Especially if you the one that did wrong. Cut the bullshit out, man. You did wrong. You did the shit. Stop, man. Cut it out, man. And again, to the weak men out there, hey, man, women treat men like shit too. It ain't just men treating women like shit, man. It goes both ways. But y'all got to stop being weak for these chicks, especially if y'all side dudes. Recognize you're a side dude, man. Play your position, bruh. Don't be coming in the room crying with the throat cry voice, man. Play your position, bruh. And like I said, the liking booty pictures on social media, man, look, make sure you know who you decide to settle down with, because, you know, sometimes people come in showing you who they truly are, and I respect that. Sometimes people don't come in being who they truly are. They pretend. And then the next thing you know, it's like, boom, boom, you got to find out later, like, damn, you into all that? So you got to find a way to ask more questions. And even if they don't answer the questions, find a creative way to get it out of them. All right. So that's going to be a wrap for this episode of Let's Talk Podcast. Please smash that like button. Please subscribe to my channel. Everything, my links to my social media is in the description of the video. And like I said, if you smash that like button, it'll help with the algorithm on YouTube so you can start seeing more content from me whenever I drop. And turn on that bell notification so that when I do post a video, you'll be notified. All right. So until the next time, my people, peace.